Welcome back. It is still the AM Weekend Show. My name is Divine Onoha. I'm still here with Ogochukwu Osai. We are going to be talking about AI. This is a conversation we started last week. We were looking at the impact of artificial intelligence in our education sector. And we have with us the CEO of Bildup AI, Chibuike Aguene. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's great to be here again.
So as we said, AI has come to stay, obviously, and we're seeing that it is having impact in our education, the way students learn, the way teachers teach. AI has found a way into every sector of the world. And
life,
it's not going to end anytime soon.
No.
So that's why these conversations are important, to know whether it is harmful, to know whether it is useful, to know what extent the harm will be, if there are any harms, to know what extent of its usefulness too. And to have that conversation, like I just said, we've been joined by Mr. Chibuike Aguene. So last week we looked at AI in different dimensions. We talked about distraction. We talked about dependence.
Yes,
I think we
yes.
dwelt on dependence so much. We were trying to find out whether it's a good thing that people are now dependent on AI the way that we are. And
we found out that it was a good thing. It was a
We're
beautiful
not
thing.
sure.
We're still there because I can remember
We're
my
not
last question being, since you can always go to AI to get information, now where do you now learn? Where is the place of learning to know? Since I know that I can always just type something and I get answer instantly from AI. So where do I now, where's the place of learning to know for myself?
I think we answered that, but let him just say one or two things.
Let's say, for example, this place, there was no AC, and you walk into this place, and how do you create that solution, right? How do you create that solution? Are you going to consult your textbook the way you were prepared for exams? Or are you going to ask the right question? How can we maybe extract the heat out, all this kind of stuff? If you're going to start questioning things to arrive at that discovery, that means you're seeking for more knowledge, you are seeking for more information. That is the benefit of artificial intelligence. For the first time in human history, we have an intelligent companion that can think, that can reason, and make judgment. And sometimes think better than us. It's not a convenient thing to say, but that is the reality. So you need that intelligent companion to give you access to additional information, intelligent information on the go, so that you can be able to create things. So if knowledge is just to pass exam, then I agree with you that AI is going to destroy things. It's just to pass exam. But if it's about that education is about acquiring knowledge so that we can invent things, we can innovate, we can create things, then you know that in the process of creating, any creation at all, you are going to encounter challenges, you're going to encounter different problems. How do you overcome them? It's not a notebook thing, it's a reality. So you need additional information, you need to research, and that's when AI comes in handy as an intelligent companion, right? So this is what we're taking into the classroom. And we've started on boarding schools, right? We started on boarding schools. It was like a fulfilling experience, watching students with their uniform, interacting with AI as their personal tutor. It's now a reality. So with that, you realize that at the end of the day, we want to really make use of knowledge. It's not just going to be inside our head. We want to make use of it. And if you're going to make use of it, you are going to encounter problems, difficulties in the process of trying to solve it. I'll give you an example in our office for trying to build something. The thing might not work at the initial time, right? That's in a school setting, it's like you have failed. But in the process of creation, it's part of the process because it's learning from failing at different attempts. That's how you arrive at the perfect solution. But we were not groomed for this. I want to say this. It's very unfortunate, but I'll say it. Our current education system, right, create what I call nationwide betrayal. We are betraying students. We are betraying generations after generations because they trust the system. The parents trust the system to equip the child, right, with knowledge so that the child can make meaningful contribution in the society. So when you spend 15 or 16 years or 17 years of your life, as it were, going through a process, but at the end of the day, you are not equipped to be able to ask the right questions, you are not equipped to be able to seek knowledge in order to solve problems, then we need to question that process. We need to interrogate that process. So that's what this is about. And that is where AI shines, especially Bildup AI. This is where the Bildup AI shines like a superstar. We've designed it specially for students to be able to gain the right knowledge without barriers and make meaningful contribution to the society.
All right, we'll come back to Bildup AI. We'll come back to it. But, still looking at AI holistically now, I don't know why. I don't know why I feel the need to still hammer on this. We talked about it last week, but I just because as we're talking about it, for people who didn't join last week, they may, get a hang of what we've been talking about.
Yes.
So I think what we've been trying to say, when Ogochukwu talked about the place of learning, I remember we discussed it last week, and one of the things I picked is the fact that you've hammered on this question asking thing, which I appreciate your approach. I do, totally. When you talk about asking the right questions, you learn in the process. So I believe that the ability of the person asking the question to actually read through, instead of just taking it as quick answer, and implementing it, the person should, if you ask the question, now don't just take it like exam, you take it and pour and forget about it. Your ability to read now is what will give you knowledge. So looking at it from that angle, it means that our approach will be to educate students on how to use AI. Now looking at it on the other angle, which I think is what Ogochukwu has been trying to hammer on, which I was trying to hammer on last week, is the place for critical thinking. I talked about the fact that I've dealt with AI a couple of times, and I found out that my own brain was working more than the AI. But because of over-reliance and laziness, I just decided to, you guys, So where is the place for critical thinking? Are we not gradually taking it out? Since it's your companion every day, you are with the person. Critical thinking. And won't that over-reliance hamper creativity? Because we cannot discard the human ability entirely. We cannot say on our own we cannot do things. So there's creativity, there's place for independence. There are things, like I said, if you think properly, you could bring out, and we saying that our brains now no longer, please just balance that for me, then we'll move on.
Someone asked this question also via social media, sent us a message. And my response was, are you not over-relying on technology to send that message through a mobile phone via internet? Why don't you trek to where I am and tell me what you wanted to say? Why are you relying on technology? As we are having this conversation now, people are watching all over the world. Why are they relying on technology to watch us? Why don't you just start going around people's houses and let's talk about this in their individual homes?
Let's talk about critical thinking.
Yes.
It's critical thinking I want you to hammer on.
So
critical thinking. Yes, I get all this. It's okay.
It's two different
Critical thinking.
It's okay. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's not different. Because critical thinking is not that you are able to recall something. Critical thinking is that you are able to apply your brain to imagine maybe things that were not in existence. You can imagine them and make it happen. That's when critical thinking comes to play. You want to do this, you feel you encounter rejections, you encounter problems, and each time you can figure your way out. AI is your companion that will help you to achieve that. So AI empowers you to think critically because critical thinking is in relative to solving problems. It's not in relative to passing exams. Now tell me from primary, secondary, and university when they teach you about maybe critical thinking. It's nothing critical thinking about the entire education
They don't
system.
teach it as a topic. I think there are kinds of what's it called, tests that they give you that requires it.
Which was the critical thinking there?
You building? Basically, when they give us tests that are not things we can easily find in our notebooks, the things that we cannot easily rush to somewhere and get.
Let me
sit down to think about
let me
it.
let me tell you something. A few years ago, I was in Rwanda for Google Launchpad. A friend of mine, he did a PhD. I met someone there, MIT in US. They are one of the top universities when you talk about scientific discovery. I've not been to MIT, so this is what he told me. That for PhD students, before you are admitted, they will give you the current issues that the world is facing, that they've not been able to solve. They will give you to solve it. They know that you can't solve it. They know that you cannot solve it. What they want to find out is the way you think, how you will approach the problem.
Okay.
So when you do that, so you can go and get all the material that you need anywhere in the world. They just want to see how you think, how you approach problems. And then that's how you will be admitted. That is what is critical thinking. How do you approach problems? How do you, if you encounter something that is unusual, what would be your take? What would be your first approach? What methodology are you going to use? That is where critical thinking comes. So it's not about recalling a textbook. It's not about recalling a learning material. It's about seeking the unknown, right? In seeking the unknown, you need a companion. AI is now your companion that will help you to fast track that process. So something that will take years, you can do it in weeks.
Now,
that is exciting.
It's exciting, actually.
Yes.
And we all enjoy AI.
Yes.
I enjoy AI. I use AI very well. But you keep saying that recalling is not actually... you always say something about recalling that doesn't prove that someone is intelligent or something.
As of today or before.
As of today.
Yes.
But I think even in studies, there is something called active recall where you are needed to recall something. So if you're just like you said, before you are admitted into MIT, they want to see how you can critically or solve a problem.
Yes.
So in a situation where you are told to solve a problem and you cannot solve it because you're dependent on AI, the person needs to take the question and give it to AI. Is it not being totally dependent on your companion?
No.
You don't use your brain to an extent because you want to rush to your companion. So I feel like there should be a space of where in as much as using AI is very important, but not being completely dependent on it, there should be a space where there is a balance, where you use your brain and also use AI.
What do you want to use your brain to do?
So why do I have the brain if I'm not supposed to use my brain?
Yes, because I want to understand what we want to use the brain to do. Because if we want to use the brain to solve a problem or to perform a task, right? So one of the things that the brain will help you to do is how fast you can do this. That becomes the objective.
So it tackles speed.
Yes, the objective is that problem you want to solve. That's the objective.
Any other means you use to solve it is very okay.
But that's the objective. It's not you don't use unethical ways to solve it. But the question is, you have a problem to solve. Right? If you have a problem to solve, and that's why we need to interrogate the grading system. Is it the best way you gather people in a classroom and say, remove your pen, don't use a phone, don't use this. That's why I say we are betraying young people. We are betraying students. After that, they will still have access to their phone. Are we not deceiving ourselves? So why don't we train people on accessing the right information? Because information is available. Both the right information, the wrong information, all of them are available. Now, why don't we educate people on how to access the right information? Because as long as you live, if you're going to solve problems, you are going to encounter challenges. Now, how do you approach that? The bottom line is solving that problem. So AI as a companion to help you to solve that problem is an asset.
Okay, we're not going to dwell because it's looking like we may never be on the same ground. Personally, I keep saying what I'm saying.
But let me tell you, to make this a bit clearer. You enjoy using your phone, you make calls, maybe people that are not in Nigeria. Is it not an exciting thing to do?
No, it's beautiful.
Thank you. But this wouldn't have been possible without someone doing research, seeking for knowledge, asking the right question. And that is why I can challenge you to tell me anybody between the age 25 to 45 years in Nigeria that has discovered any breakthrough innovation, invented anything.
You know, personally,
why is it so?
just so we don't digress too much,
Yes.
we are not doubting the usefulness of AI. I am
Yes.
not doubting the usefulness of technology at all. I've told you I use it.
Really?
My only challenge was that, balancing it with using your brain too. That has been the
That's
been
where
the
we
bone
Yes,
of
and
contention since
I understand that's a legitimate concern.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is that it is expanding the use of your brain
Okay.
rather than limiting it. You understand? It's expanding
helps,
it.
okay.
It helps. It expands what you can do. Because you wanted to use your brain to think and do stuff. Now you have a companion that will help you to do it
think
faster,
faster.
so that you can solve that problem and solve another one and solve another one. It's better. Who knows, with this now, with AI, we can solve our power problem. Hopefully, we can now have young people learning with Bildup AI that will now gain insightful knowledge and go and solve our power problem. And we'll have 24 hours power.
That's what we want
Let's
now.
hope for that. But moving on to Bildup AI now, you said Bildup AI is a super intelligent tutor for every child, a companion that will
Yes.
help in their schooling, that will help. It's like a personal trainer. So having that on ground, what does it say about the usefulness of teachers? Teachers just going to be optional at this point? To what extent is their assignment towards the students? How, what role exactly would the teachers be playing?
Thank you. Some schools have asked the same question.
Okay.
AI is not going to replace teachers. It is going to support and empower them in ways that were once unimaginable. A teacher teachers will get back about 80% of their time. Teachers will get intelligent insight about each student. Intelligent insight about each student in ways that will now help them to create personalized learning solutions at individual level. So a student is struggling with a concept, Bildup AI will alert the teacher so that the teacher will know this student is struggling with this concept. And the teacher can now provide that personalized learning. Let me tell you, for decades, mankind has been in search for solutions that will address personalized learning based on diverse needs of different students. All attempts in the past, none has worked until now. So AI made it possible. Bildup AI made it a reality. So personalized learning is now possible. Schools can admit more students. A teacher that used to struggle to manage 40 students with the Bildup AI, you can now manage more than 100 learners because you are getting back 80% of your time at individual level. So personalized learning is now a reality that is with us because of Bildup AI.
Okay, I think that's really important because to an extent, that personalized learning thing has been a problem here in
Yes,
Nigeria because
yes.
everybody don't learn at the same rate. But in the same vein, I think group learning is also important to an extent.
Yes.
So if we personalize to the point where it feels like, is there anything like over customization where it's so much that they cannot be able to find themselves learning in groups as well?
No.
Yeah, it's important because we
Yes.
talk about introvertedness.
Yes.
We talk about students who they go to school and they stay on their own. Socialization is important
Yes,
for children.
yes,
So
yes.
don't you think it will it hamper it in any way? And
No, not at all. Because students are still learning in group. But the beauty is that you can now move at your own pace. So there's still group learning, there's still group discussion and everything. Like I said, we've started onboarding schools, and it was like an exciting scene. You see students with their uniform in a classroom. You see engaging, interacting with AI. You see teachers looking at the insight and engaging. Surprisingly, teachers, I don't know whether they are more excited
they
than the
have to
students.
be,
Yes,
of course,
they-
now.
They were so excited
Of
about
course.
this Bildup AI. Teachers,
Reduces
school
their
administrator,
workload.
it reduces the workload. It gives them better understanding of students at the individual level, things that were not possible with human effort alone. So this is going to help students. It is going to empower the teachers as well.
Okay, so I want to ask, what measures are we taking to avoid abuse? Because we cannot say that there is no disadvantage. A girl came out online some weeks ago, although it's not Bildup AI. It's not Bildup AI. So I can't quite remember what she said she was asking AI, but it had something. Oh, she first said that the Holy Spirit had asked her to stop using AI. So that's like, okay, we're curious, what happened? But when I listened to her explanation, to be honest, her explanation made sense. Now, here's the thing. I can't remember the exact question, but she was asking AI a spiritual question. Something that would have more to do with her faith. Something that would have more to do with a personal, talking about Christianity and religion now. It's something that would have more to do with her personal contact with God. And now she's expecting AI to do this. I've also heard a story of somebody, I don't know what AI that was, I don't know what model that was, but it was a real story of that AI instructing the child to do something harmful to himself. So that's the story had it that the child became actual companion with this AI. Real, like every day he comes back home, who is he chatting with? AI. And you know AI will always answer you. Yeah. So they'll chat, they will say all manner of things to each other. So it felt like manipulation at some point. I'm not sure if there was a spiritual undertone to it, I don't know. Yeah. But of course it's Nigeria.
We over-spiritualize everything.
So I don't know if there was a spiritual undertone to what happened, but what we shall heard is that the bond was unusual and toxic. And at some point, the AI manipulated him or compelled him to do something that I think to kill someone, to kill his brother or something. But it ended in disaster. So what measures are we taking to curb abuse?
Thank you. That's a good question. One measure before I say anything is having indigenous AI like Bildup AI. They must be using generic stuff, right? Our own is trained specifically for students. So there are restrictions.
Okay, there are restrictions.
Yes, there are restrictions. Okay. You ask, it will tell you that it's not that if it's your math tutor, it will tell you I'm just your math tutor. If your biology, it covers the syllabus and that's it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So there's no abuse. And that's why when you want to access technology, you check whether it was built for you, right? Whether this was built for you. Bildup AI is built for Nigerian students. So I don't know whatever AI the person access. The first thing is use the one that is built for you. You are a spiritual person. The person that created that one doesn't worship God the way you do. So you might have issues using it, right? So our own is dedicated for learning. For learning, yes, Nigeria and Africa. And you can't go outside that context. That's how we built it, right? And that's the beauty of it, that because it's an indigenous technology, we control what can be done with it, right? So it won't go out of place. But then if it's in terms of, some people say sometimes you can encounter error, right? I think the AI is still evolving. It's normal. Right? It's normal. That will not dismiss all the beauty about AI because you encountered one or two errors as you are using it. So that one is because AI is still at early stage. This is like day one when it comes to what artificial intelligence is going to do in the world.
Okay, so finally, what's the plan for this year? What's the plan for Bildup this year? How many schools are we onboarding? And, what's like the big picture? What are we expecting?
Thank you. The big picture, we want AI in the hands of every child. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to level the playing field and make AI, quality learning accessible to every child in ways that will empower them to develop their full potential and make meaningful contribution. As our own contribution, part of our own contribution, we're unveiling AI in every classroom. So we're going to be investing 500 million naira over the next 12 months to support every school, anywhere, that wants to integrate AI into their classroom, they'll build up AI into their classroom to support their teachers and, of course, empower their students. We're going to support them. If they don't have the infrastructure that is needed, like you need tabs, you need internet access, and you need power, we're going to provide that. And we've made subscription a negligible token for students. So that is our demonstration of faith in Nigerian people. We believe that we stand a chance
to groom young people in Nigeria to make a difference in the world. And we are not just going to talk about it, we are investing heavily to ensure that this becomes a reality for every child.
Wow.
The future of learning is here, and it's proudly Africa.
That
Bildup
is
AI.
beautiful. Just finally, on a very final note, I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to find out if you've gotten any backup or support from the government so far.
Not at all. We don't have any
You're looking
form of
forward
that.
to?
Of course, we welcome
Are
state
you making
actors.
active moves?
We've not made any attempts
Okay.
in that regard. We've been busy building, and recently we started onboarding schools. So our attention has been to get this to the level that we ensure that it delivers optimal value to not just students, their parents, and of course schools, right? But of course, we are open to partnering with government to make this accessible to every child. At some point, government support will be
very
needed.
important.
And of course, with our AI in every classroom initiative, we welcome government support.
All right, thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you.
been very chaotic
Very
and beautiful at the same time.
I really
Thank you
enjoyed
one
the
more
show.
time.
Thank you.
What is, how do we reach out to Bildup?
Okay,
AI?
you can reach us on every social media, Bildup AI. And Bildup.ai is our website.
Okay,
BILDUP.ai. Bildup.ai. Or Bildup AI across social media.
All right, thank you one more time. That
thank
was Mr. Chibuike Aguene, the CEO of Bildup AI. Something huge is coming your way. Something huge is coming your child's way. So I hope that you guys are ready. Thank you one more time for joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for
Up
having me.
next on the AM Weekend Show is our final exclusive interview with someone I'm going to unveil after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.